Fala, Nick Fans! Beleza? Sou Victor Hatpa, do canal Nick Fans Brasil, galera. Hoje, mais uma super live daquelas, very special for me, muito especial para mim, porque hoje vou simplesmente, junto com Bruno Gonçalves, novamente, nosso tradutor, translator, interpreter dessa live, nós vamos ter a honra, de poder conversar com uma figura super icônica, filho de uma das personalidades que me fez ser hoje torcedor do New York Knicks, Antoine Mason, Antoine Mason, filho de Antoine Mason, vai estar aqui, com a gente no canal Knicks Fans Brasil para conversar com os nossos torcedores do Knicks no Brasil e ao redor do mundo, Nossos American Friends também nessa live. Enfim, Welcome to the Knicks Fans Brasil channel, Antoine Mason.
I'd like to thank glory to God first, and I'd like to thank you for having me.
I'm so excited, man. Bruno.
Ele disse, Victor, que tá feliz de estar aqui, agradecer a Deus por tudo e feliz de estar aqui.
Com certeza, estamos todos muito felizes. First question, Antoine. Seu pai, o Anthony Mason, é um ícone, da geração dos anos 90, Foi realmente um ícone. Porém, você nasceu em 92, 92, Quando eu comecei a torcer, quando eu me tornei um Knicks fan. Mas, da sua infância, qual que foi um dos momentos mais marcantes que você conseguiu acompanhar do seu pai jogando pelo New York Knicks?
Yeah, Victor mentioned your father was an icon in the 90s. He played so hard and with intensity for the Knicks, with the passion, with the heart. And Victor asked to you mention one game you or something you watched later, and you said, "Oh, this is a memorable moment in the Knicks." So he wants to you show to us or share to us about these moments and that you remember, of course.
Well, I think the most memorable thing about having my dad play for the Knicks was the fact that I was at the Garden all the time, at all his home games. And as a little kid, I didn't understand really what was going on. I was just running around in the arena, go to the family area and then go to the game and just watch the games. And I didn't know, I was a little kid, so I didn't know what was going on. But every time I heard Mason or Anthony Mason, I just started smiling, and my mom was holding me, and she was like, "Yep, that's your dad." So, every year I got older and I start, understanding. Oh, okay, my dad plays for the Knicks. Oh, okay, it was a common thing. Oh, I'm going to Madison Square Garden to watch my dad play. And as I got older, I started understanding and realizing how incredible that is to have somebody, play in the NBA that's your father. And, me, I played basketball too and try to reach his level of going to the NBA. So it's just incredible to have those memories and somebody that important to me to be that leader, that example of what I want to be.
Oh, nice, man. Ele disse, Victor, que, tipo assim, os momentos memoráveis que ele teve, porque ele era muito criança, muito novo, ele não se lembra muita coisa, então ele não conseguia saber o que estava acontecendo de fato, ele só escutava o nome do pai dele sendo falado, ele olhava para a mãe dele, ria, corria de um lado para o outro no ginásio, na Madison Square Garden, e sem muito entender aquilo. Depois, com o tempo que ele foi crescendo, e tal, foi entendendo a dimensão, do trabalho que o pai dele teve nos Knicks, Ele também jogou basquetebol, e tal. Então ele começou a entender todo o contexto da coisa e isso é fantástico, e tal, para você passar ao longo do tempo e ver tão importante que o pai dele foi na liga, principalmente pro Knicks,
E quero aproveitar, sei que eu mencionei nos bastidores, mas quero registrar nessa live. Bruno, comenta com o Antoine que o pai dele foi um dos responsáveis, né? Um dos quatro responsáveis para eu me tornar Knicks fan em 92.
Yeah, Victor mentioned your father was responsible to Victor become a Knicks fan, so it's really good story. And he started to be a Knicks fan with the beginning of his life with like a fan. He's 92, the same year you born, so it's a really special thing.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. You know, that 90s era of Knicks basketball is talked about continuously, no matter if it's in New York, if it's different areas of the states, if it's obviously in Brazil, different countries. People enjoyed the passion that the Knicks brought in the 90s. It was just hard, tough earned, and it kind of defined what New York is all about. And people love that, you know, they wasn't going to cheat you with their effort. They wasn't going to cheat you with their heart. They put everything out.
Oh, yeah. Ele falou, né, Vitor, que a NBA tipo, é tudo muito complicado, né, e tal. E tem coisas, por exemplo, né, que não tem como você ensinar, né? Por exemplo, o atleta se esforçar, né, jogar com o coração, né, e tal, e jogar para os fãs. Então, tipo assim, para conquistar os fãs, né, o atleta que põe o máximo dele em quadra, né, como foi o Antoine Mason, o atleta que se dedica muito, né, para um time e tal, joga com emoção, a torcida compra a ideia, né, e tal. Então isso acaba reproduzindo e trazendo bons frutos, né, e tal, e trazendo pessoas, né, para essa torcida para o time, como foi o seu caso, por exemplo.
E até uma curiosidade, Antoine, eu tô aqui, ó, com Blood in the Garden, né?
Yeah.
E eu terminei o capítulo sobre Anthony Mason recente e dei a sorte de, em seguida, que eu acabei o capítulo sobre Your Father, né, sobre seu pai, trazer, né, você aqui no canal. Foi muita sorte, ó. Gods aqui, ó, help me, né? Bring to you here. Foi o quê? Uma semana que eu terminei de ler, né, esse capítulo sobre Anthony Mason e relembrar, né, sobre Anthony no New York Knicks. Incrível, é incrível a história do Anthony Mason com o New York Knicks. Se puder só citar, Bruninho, o que eu comentei com ele aqui.
Yeah, Victor mentioned he just finished the chapter of appearing in the Blood in the Garden about your dad, and bring you here in the channel is something really special, something really good for us, for him, for Victor, for us, and in general. So he wants to let you know about this.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Like I said before, just being around my dad during that time as a little kid, I was just excited that he was my dad. I didn't see it no different until I got older, and my friends in school were like, "Do you know who your father is? He plays in NBA." But you know, like I said, as I start playing basketball, as I start trying to develop my skills, I was like, wow, he's special. He's, you know, where I want to be. And having somebody that could talk and give you all their history of what they went through and help you with your career as you get older and keep developing was important to me. He's the biggest influence in my career, in my development of the game. He broke it down to me. He let me, you know, take my lumps playing against older players, people that were better than me at that time, and just helped me develop my game, and told me his stories of when he started his junior year in high school, first time playing basketball, and worked. The one thing about my dad, he worked his butt off to get where he wanted to get to, and make a name for himself. He did it his way. And, you know, starting at your junior year in high school is very uncommon, and to get a D1 scholarship, to make it to the NBA, get cut, go overseas, grind it out, the whole journey. His journey is special, and to come back to the NBA, be an NBA All-Star, his story is amazing, and not just because he's my father. It's just incredible. He was an incredible person.
Yeah, of course, man.
Mason was incredible, really. Don't... Fala aí, Bruninho.
Ele disse, né, Victor, como ele tinha mencionado, né, tipo assim, ele cresceu sem entender muito, né? Ele tava lá, escutava muita coisa, mas cresceu sem entender. Depois, e como ele mesmo disse, né, anteriormente e tal, ele cresceu, foi desenvolver as habilidades dele no basquete e tal, e tudo. E depois ele começou a ver, descobrir o tanto que o pai dele influenciou outros atletas, né? O tanto que o pai dele ajudou, né? Nesse contexto, né, de desenvolvimento dos jogos e tal, né? Influenciou vários atletas como ele também, acabou se influenciando ali, de certa forma, pelo que o pai dele fazia, e ele entendeu tanto que o pai dele era incrível, né? Ele disse até que, tipo assim, ele disse que não é porque é o pai dele, mas é porque realmente o pai dele influenciou muito, e é verdade, né? O pai dele acabou influenciando vários atletas, e a história dele em si é fantástica, é incrível, né? Porque tudo que ele passou na liga para chegar para ser um dos grandes na história dos Knicks e tal, que é uma franquia que não é fácil, né? O público é um público muito exigente e tal, e é uma cidade grande, né? Então todo esse contexto já mostra tanto que foi especial a carreira do pai dele, né?
Com certeza. Até fazendo um parênteses, assim, a gente sabe, né? Ele nasceu em 92, né? Mas, lógico, ele acaba com o tempo, né? Tendo essa noção, né? Por exemplo, Mason, teve o seu melhor momento da carreira com os Knicks, onde foi eleito 6º homem na temporada de 95. E depois chegou a ser recordista de tempo em quadra com os Knicks na NBA na temporada 95-96. Antoine, qual era a grande virtude do seu pai jogando em quadra?
Yeah, Mason had the best moment of his career with the Knicks, where he was elected sixth man in the season in the 95, and become a player in the court with the most minutes. So, which was his father great virtue playing on the court?
What was his favorite moment?
Yeah.
He always told me the fact that he's, a kid from Queens, from New York, was to play in the Garden. The whole experience was his favorite part. Being a hometown kid, to represent your team, to have your family in the crowd, family, friends in the crowd every game was his favorite part. And he gave it all. He always said every game he was nervous, but in a good way. He never wanted to embarrass his family, never wanted to embarrass his team, and obviously he wanted to win. So that being at home gave him a sense of urgency on the court of he just wanted to give it all for the city, and it meant so much for him to be a Knick. It was his greatest moment. His greatest feeling is to play in Madison Square Garden for the home team.
Oh, yeah. Ele disse, né, Victor, que o pai dele, né, encarava os jogos no Knicks, né, com extrema responsabilidade, principalmente porque ele até mencionou que ele não queria, principalmente, envergonhar a família, né, porque ele é um cara que era da cidade, né, e jogando em Nova York, né, todo mundo assistindo e tal, ele punha o máximo dele sempre em quadra. Jogar em casa realmente era um dos melhores momentos para ele, né? Como pai, como jogador na NBA, né? Poder ver a família lá e tal, representar a família dele, né? Representar Nova York. Então, todo esse contexto, né? Ele colocava o máximo dele e conseguia atingir esses números, né? Então, tipo, ele colocava isso também na forma de treinar, né? E tal. A própria cidade, né? Acabou moldando um pouco a forma dele jogar, o caráter dele e tudo. Então, todo esse contexto culminou nesses resultados em quadra, né?
Ah, com certeza. Aqui, ó, outra pergunta. Para o seu pai, qual foi o jogador mais talentoso que ele jogou, né? Ele chegou a falar quais foram os mais marcantes?
Yeah, Victor asked if your father mentioned to you something like, for example, was the most talented player he played, was have a teammate, for example, the guy he liked to play, said, oh, this guy is so talented, I love to play with this guy. So Victor asked if you heard something about this, your father saying to you, for example.
Most talented. He thought
Yeah.
he was the most talented. That's what made him who he was. He always felt like he had to fight for everything. So in his mind, he respected players, respected everybody, but he thought he was the best, and that's how he achieved where he got. But as far as players he loved to play with, of course, his main man, Oakley, Starks,
Great.
the whole unit he loved. But I remember as a kid, I used to go with my dad to Oakley's house, and I would see them lift, days before games and just grind it out. It was, as a kid, I was just running around watching everything. But now thinking about it, it was like, oh wow, he was really putting extra time in with his teammates like Oakley, and he loved Starks. They both came off the bench. Him, Starks and Greg Anthony both came off the bench and made a name for themselves where John got Sixth Man of the Year. My dad got Sixth Man of the Year. And then they both ended up starting and being big pieces to that Knicks team. So did Greg Anthony. They all just he had his moments with everybody. Pat, everybody. He respected everybody, and he just wanted to perform the very best for his teammates, and he knew that they had his back as much as he had their back.
Oh yeah.
Oakley and Mason, two guys very, very stronger. Fala aí, Bruninho.
Ele mencionou, né, Vitor, que assim, ele disse que o pai dele, por exemplo, era um jogador talentoso, né, e disse que tinha muitos outros talentosos, né, em volta, né.
Sim,
ele
com
mencionou
certeza.
o Oakley também, ele mencionou o John Starks, né, e tal, que ele, quando era criança, também ia, né, depois ali dos jogos, muitas vezes e tal, e eles estavam praticando, eles estavam jogando, e ele não entendia, ele que era criança, ficava querendo brincar e se divertir, né. Depois ele entendeu, né, o tanto que eles colocavam realmente o trabalho deles em quadra, né, e o trabalho deles fora de quadra, por exemplo, eles estavam sempre juntos, né, e tal. Vários ali, tipo assim, o Starks ganhou o Sexto Homem, ele também, né, e tal. Então, todo esse contexto mostra toda a conexão entre eles. Então, ele teve... ele não consegue nomear um específico que seja o mais talentoso, né, porque todos foram talentosos em diferentes aspectos de quadra, né? E tanto do lado de dentro, né, quanto fora também. Então, o pai dele é muito abençoado de ter tido esses companheiros de time, né? Também.
Com certeza. Até, vamos começar a colocar pergunta internacional, já que a gente está tendo aqui, nossos American friends, né, assistindo aqui, watching this live. Vamos colocar a primeira, first question, né, for American friends. Antoine, pergunta, question. Did you read The Blood and the Garden?
Not yet. I just came back from Jordan, and I ordered it to, deliver when I got home, and I ruptured my Achilles in the middle of the season. I'm having a great season, but I have time to just rehab, get better, and read a book. So I'll definitely be reading it soon.
Ele disse, né, Vitor, que ele não conseguiu ler ainda, né? Ele tá vindo de lesão e tal, então é muito complicado, né, esse processo.
I see your Instagram.
Yeah.
Mas que ele com certeza vai ler, né? Porque agora nesse período de recuperação ele vai conseguir ter um tempinho para ler e com certeza ele vai ler.
I showed this life for Chris Henry, man. Chris Henry make it live with me and Bruno in this channel. I will told this life from him after. Ok? Bruno, comenta com ele que se eu fosse dos Estados Unidos, amanhã mesmo já ia lá entregar para ele esse livro aí, ó, ao vivo.
Peter mentioned if he goes to US, for example, if he goes tomorrow, for example, he will left to you a gift and bring to you a book, this book.
Oh, cool. I appreciate it.
Ó, tem uma outra pergunta aqui, ó, que também estava até na nossa pauta, Bruno. Ó, pergunta para ele qual a diferença, né, fazendo um pouco desse paralelo, qual a diferença entre a estrutura e o processo de treinamento e preparação nos diferentes países que ele jogou, né? E tendo essa experiência, o que ele vê que faz a NBA ser a NBA?
Yeah, man. The guy asked about the structure of different leagues in the world. You have experience outside too. So, what do you think is the difference between the NBA and another leagues around the world? And what do you think that make the NBA be NBA, for example, to be the most excited league in the world?
The NBA have the most fast, athletic players. Overseas life, it's pretty tough as well. They have a lot of competitive leagues. Sometimes I feel like the defense is harder overseas than it is in the NBA. But you have some incredible athletes in the NBA that could just flat out score and really put on a show. And you have people overseas that could really play, like myself, that's just trying to make their way back into the NBA and get that chance. Again, for me, my senior year was the hardest year of my life. 2015 was when my dad passed in the middle of my season, and it was unexpected. So my mental wasn't always there after he passed. Like my senior year was kind of a blur to me, but just trying to work my way back into consideration to play in the NBA, but playing against players like from Kentucky that went to the NBA, players like Kyrie Irving that I knew since I was young, Tobias Harris, we have the same trainers. They're talented, and it's people overseas that's talented as well that's just needs that opportunity. So it's all about opportunity to get that chance in the NBA. And, you know, the NBA is the most entertaining, most exciting, especially during the playoffs. That's when you start seeing people really competitive, teams really show what they have. So that's why everybody watches it all over the world, because you want to be in that league. You want to show what you can do, but people that don't have that opportunity, they're still working their butt off overseas to get that opportunity or to make a name for themselves.
Oh, yeah. Ele falou, né, Vitor, que se você for ver, por exemplo, né, diferentes ligas de vários lugares, por exemplo, né, e tal, tem atletas tão talentosos quanto a NBA, né? A diferença, assim, é que separa muito a questão da oportunidade, né, dos atletas desenvolverem os jogos, né? Porque a liga extremamente é competitiva e a NBA acaba elevando muito a questão física, né, ao extremo. Então, tipo assim, atletas que se desenvolvem bastante, né, no ponto de vista físico para poder jogar a NBA. Então, seria mais ou menos um desses pontos, né? E a NBA tem a capacidade de reunir os melhores jogadores, né? Que tem a capacidade de se preparar muito bem para os jogos, enfim, né? Ter essa vantagem atlética também, né? Mas ele mencionou que fora da NBA tem muitos atletas que tipo assim, às vezes ele mencionou que, tipo, dependendo da liga ou onde ele esteja jogando, por exemplo, os atletas conseguem até apresentar mais defesa do que na NBA, né? Que é um jogo dinâmico e que a diferença de ter pontuadores, por exemplo, ali ao extremo e tal, né, eleva o jogo da NBA, é um jogo mais atrativo para o público gosta de assistir, a pontuação acontecendo o tempo inteiro, principalmente nos playoffs, todo mundo quer ver aquilo acontecendo dessa forma. Então, com todo esse contexto, né, e tal, torna a NBA, por exemplo, a liga mais excitante, mais vistosa, né, que todo mundo quer ver, quer acompanhar, porque ali tem muita enterrada, tem muito jogador fazendo pontos insanos ali, né, pontuações muito loucas e tal. Então, todo esse contexto engloba isso, entendeu?
Ah, legal. Antoine, vamos lá. Another question aqui, ó. Mason era conhecido por ser um jogador físico, né? Símbolo de determinação e luta. Você vê que na atual temporada da NBA existem poucos jogadores com essa característica?
Yeah. Mason was known for being a physical player, play so hard with intensity, is a symbol of the determination and play very hard. And current NBA, sometimes we don't see this. We know the players have a mental in the score a lot and doing this job, but sometimes they don't put. Sometimes it's complicated to say this, but no put in the heart in the game to win games. Understand? Sometimes they just want to appear in the show, but not to be this guy with this mentality. You understand? So, what do you think is different about your dad did, and why don't have this vibe in NBA right now with a lot of players, for example?
The '90s basketball period was way more physical. To me, it made it more competitive because every quarter, every second counted. It was times, especially as I was growing up, I was watching games and it seemed like the intensity was from the first quarter all the way through the fourth. They kind of help more of the offense now in today's game where you can't hand check, can't be as physical. Different style of plays have changed, and I think they gravitated more towards showing the viewers scoring more than actual defense, if that makes sense. You have some plays that still play, intense on defense, and you see it throughout the whole game. But for me, watching wise, growing up in the '90s era was way more fun to watch because every possession counted. It wasn't a high scoring game where you see teams scoring 145, 130 in games. It was grinded out. You're gonna have to earn your points, and then the people that scored a lot, or like such as Jordan or whatever, it was incredible to see because you knew the people that he was going against was not trying to give him that. They were hitting him physical, and you're like, wow, that's pretty incredible. Nowadays, you see a lot of it's also good to watch, but you see a lot of people. Anybody could pretty much score 20. Anybody could have a 30-point night in the league. How it is, how it transgressed to shooting threes. So the games change.
Yes.
Both exciting to watch. For me, watching the '90s was more exciting because it felt like a playoff atmosphere every game that I watched. In today's game, you see teams getting blown out a lot. Pretty much who's going to win until the playoffs. Like last year's playoffs was exciting because it wasn't a favorite. You didn't really know who was going to win. So that gave, the viewers and the game more excitement because it wasn't just, years ago it was, you knew the Warriors was going to be in the finals. You knew Cleveland was going to be in the finals. It was just oh, let's have a regular season until they play in the finals. But I mean, I could see the game getting closer, more competitive from last year and this year. Will it ever be as physical as the '90s? I don't think. You know, it was a lot of fights, a lot. For me, that brought the excitement. You knew you know, it wasn't fake. It wasn't no. If they wanted to fight, you knew they really wanted to win. Now they, you know, made sure that that doesn't happen. But it's like I said, it's still exciting. It's still fun to watch those games. Just for me, the '90s were more competitive and better to watch, in my opinion.
I prefer 90s.
Ele tava falando, né, Vitor, que na NBA dos anos 90, ele disse que era muito legal, né, ter crescido naquela época, né, e tal, acompanhar aquilo tudo. Ele disse que, basicamente, né, os atletas, por exemplo, era muito difícil você ter vários atletas pontuando, tipo assim, 30 pontos você por partida e tal, né, tal, que geralmente só os melhores, né, tinham tais pontuações e tal, porque era um jogo extremamente físico, né, focado na defesa. Na NBA hoje ainda tem atletas que são dessa forma, né, que apresentam esse tipo de jogo, mas que no contexto geral, por exemplo, o jogo mudou, obviamente. Ele falou que é muito bom assistir, tanto hoje em dia quanto nos anos 90, né, na época que ele jogou, mas que nesse contexto, o atleta tinha que merecer mesmo a pontuação que ele tinha em quadra. Então, que ele era levado ao extremo. Então, era muito difícil um atleta conseguir fazer uma pontuação, tipo, pontuar 30 pontos na noite assim e tal, se não fosse um atleta de elite mesmo, um atleta de ponta, tá? Então, era um jogo extremamente voltado, né, na questão atlética, na defesa e tal. Hoje os atletas estão muito mais voltados em pontuar, né, em aparecer em quadra.
Perímetro.
Isso, com pontuação alta, né, chute de fora e tal. É um jogo tipo assim, com menos intensidade nesse aspecto, né, e tal. As faltas muitas vezes até não são tão duras, existem faltas duras, lógico, mas não tão quanto naquela época. E que tudo mudou, né, e tal. E ele preferia assistir, né, e tal, porque assistir nos anos 90 por causa disso, né, que tal, que a equipe que ganhasse realmente lutou ao máximo, pôs tudo dela dentro de quadra para vencer, né? Que muitas vezes, tipo assim, alguns times na liga, uns atletas e tal ali estão para aparecer, eles não querem ganhar o jogo aqui, querem ganhar o outro e tal. Então, isso acaba sendo complicado, mas que dentro do contexto, assistir hoje, assistir no passado também, os dois são excitantes, né? Mais que ele prefere os anos 90.
Ah, com certeza. Hoje em dia, Antoine, é tudo three, tudo longer, cara. Não. Cara, eu gosto de jogada trabalhada ali, ó, né? Close the ring. Não, cara, não. Tudo é perímetro, three. For me, ó. I imagine your father, né? Oakley, see, né? These people now, né? Just perimetry, né, Bruna? Correct?
Yeah, shoot outside, yeah.
Shoot outside. Yeah. Man, oh. For me, ó. But my opinion, man. My opinion.
What's funny about that is a lot of people trying to talk about not to take mid-range shots or whatever. They want threes or layups, dunks, whatever. But the best scorers in history has used the mid-range game to their advantage. It's funny. You have people like TJ that was mid-range, Kobe mid-range. You have people like Kevin Durant, who's everybody argues is the best scorer today and one of the top 5 scorers of all time. He uses mid-range. So it's kind of funny that a lot of people talk about threes. Yes, not everybody's going to be Steph or, people that are just specialists at threes. And it's fun to watch at times, but when you look at the stats and you see, oh, this guy's still at the top as scoring, like, you know, before Kawhi got hurt, he was still carrying a team, won the championship, and he wasn't a 3-point specialist, but he attacked mid range. Kept, like I said, Kevin Durant mid range. As long as you mix the game up, like, I think it's gonna get better. If you just stay at the three and, you know, layups, 3 layups is like, all right, that's it. It's better to mix the game up, and that's something that my dad always taught me as a player. For myself, he said, you don't want to be predictable. You don't want to have where people can scout you saying, oh, he does this, and if you take that away, his game is over. So when I used to work out with my dad, we worked on everything on to perfect my craft, where I didn't have flaws, or I keep developing to get better so I don't have flaws. And that's how I am today. And what he installed in me still lives into me today, where I work on all the aspects of the game and not just stick to threes or whatever. I like to mix it up because it makes you very hard to guard and very unpredictable. People that you see could change their game and evolve, you know, throughout the times of the game, stand out.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Ele disse, né, Vitor, que muitas pessoas, né, levam em consideração essa questão de chutar de três, né, e tal, mas se você for ver os maiores pontuadores da história da liga, né, eles usavam, por exemplo, o chute de meia distância, né, e tal, que é aquele chute de dois ali, por exemplo, e tal, que é um chute usado tipo, por grandes atletas, né, e ele mencionou atletas que estão na liga até hoje, por exemplo, Kevin Durant, né, talvez a gente poderia, tipo, ele mencionou também a questão o Kobe também tinha, né, esse chute de meia distância.
O maior pontuador do Knicks, Patrick Ewing, não
Ah,
era chutador de três.
não, tipo, muitos na liga, né? Tipo assim, ele mencionando, tipo assim, porque geralmente ou é chuta de três, ou vai para fazer uma bandeja, alguma coisa do gênero, mas tipo assim, que essa questão, né, de chute de meia distância, por exemplo, é ignorada, né? E isso fez parte da vida dele como até desenvolvimento. O pai dele mesmo falava para ele, né, que chute de meia distância, para todos os aspectos de quadra, né? O chute de fora também são importantes, mas o chute de dois também, né? O chute de meia distância é importante, a infiltração é importante no basquete, então todo esse contexto, né, é importante na liga. Então, tipo assim, é importante no basquete, e ele acabou trabalhando dessa forma, né? A parte mental dele também para poder jogar dessa forma, né, e tal. Uma atleta que também tipo, a gente poderia citar, por exemplo, o The Rosen também, que chuta muito de chute de meia distância também, né?
Isso.
Que é um chute, tipo assim, que é um chute letal e que as equipes dos atletas podiam utilizar mais, né? Então, se você for ver, o atleta que mais, os atletas que mais pontuam são aqueles que entendem essa lógica do jogo, né?
Exato. Concordo. I agree with you. Ó, uma pergunta aqui curiosa aqui, ó. Eu sei, você era criança, beleza, nasceu em 92, born in 92, ok, né? Mas assim, ó, curiosidade, qual que foi, né, o momento que mais te marcou você vendo seu pai jogar?
Yeah, Victor mentioned you were born in 92. Yeah, it was complicated because you're so young when your father play for the Knicks. But Victor asked if you have a memorable moment you record, said, oh, this is after watching the games and talk with your dad that you can share with us.
I think just being around him throughout his NBA career was just memorable. Like I said, I was a child when he was on the Knicks, but I started to understand the game more when he was on the Knicks, and then he went to Charlotte. I was able to go to the practices, and actually, my dad and Bill Curry played together, so I used to see Steph when he was younger, and Seth. So we used to run around in practice, me, my brother, and I ran around in practice. And then when he went to Miami, every year I was playing basketball, so I saw him stand in the game, and he was teaching me. And I think a memorable moment was all his hard work that he put in, you know, throughout the years. He made it to the All-Star game at 34, which is, you know, rare for a first-time player to make it later in their career. And
Miami Heat, né? Miami Heat, o All-Star.
I was so happy for him to get that recognition, to know that, yeah, you're one of the top players. He always felt it, but it established, like, yeah, you're one of the top players. You belong here. And that whole All-Star weekend experience was pretty fun. He took me to three-point contest, the dunk contest. I watched the game, obviously, but that was a very memorable point. And then when he went to the Bucks, I was old enough to, you know, watch the practices, understand the game more, and pick his mind. And it used to be funny. I used to go to the practices with him and watch it, and then just run around with him through the locker room and stuff. And then he always loved going into the steam room. And me pretty much being his shadow, I used to always follow him. And I used to go in the steam room with him, and it just got really hot. And I'm like, all right, let me run out of here. So I run out, and I come back in, and run out and come back in. And he was like, hey, you got to decide if you're going to stay in or stay out, because now you're messing with the temperature. So I kind of got used to, now I love the steam room. And I think that's pretty much being around him. I got used to the heat and everything. So as I do my career and my journey, it's a lot of things that I realized I picked up from him, how to, you know, stay in shape by lifting and taking care of my body, and, you know, doing certain things that he would do, or things that he's shown me when we worked out, that is pretty cool. And that's, you know, memories that I'll always have. And then the stories he told me, you know, through his playing years, people that was tough to cover, or arguments and fights, and anything that he told me was pretty memorable. But I think the biggest point for me was just seeing him develop and him making it to that All-Star game. It meant so much to him, and that he was one of the players, and he started. It was one of the most competitive All-Star games in 2001. They won. So that whole weekend was just amazing. It was pretty remarkable to see, you know, all that hard work that he put in from day one to being an All-Star at 34, and just enjoying the moment.
Great.
Ele falou, né, Victor, que só o fato de estar ao redor do pai dele, né, já é um momento fantástico, né, de poder de ter partilhado esses momentos, né, que muitas pessoas às vezes gostariam, né, de ver como é o vestiário, estar com os atletas ali de alto nível. E era criança e tipo assim, muitas vezes eu sabia, né, do profissional e tal. Ele até disse que ele era a sombra do pai dele. Onde o pai dele ia, ele ia atrás. Ele estava em todos os lugares, né, e tal. Então, acabava que, tipo assim, que ele até mencionou, né, que tem um momento que o pai dele estava naquela preparação, né, depois dos jogos e tal ali. Tava, tipo, não era meio que uma sauna, mas estava num espaço onde tinha temperatura controlada, né, que era quente e tal. E que tava lá, e ele chegava, aparecia, né, e voltava. Aí aparecia e voltava, para ele falou, você vai ter que decidir, você vai ficar aqui dentro, vai ficar lá fora. E ele era criança, e ele não entendia o contexto da coisa, ele estava ali para se divertir. Então, ter essa oportunidade, esses momentos com o pai dele, ele mencionou também o Jogo das Estrelas, né, o All-Star, também que ele teve a oportunidade de estar lá. Muitas pessoas, às vezes até pagam caro, queriam saber o que acontece, né, tudo, e ele teve a oportunidade de acompanhar o pai dele, ver tudo de perto, né, tudo que aconteceu, ver o pai dele também. Ele falou que tudo foi fantástico, né, dunk contest, o chute de três também, né, tudo que aconteceu, né, no All-Star também foi fantástico, e que todo esse trabalho, que o ponto principal de tudo é ver o desenvolvimento do pai dele como atleta e ser o que foi na liga. Então, ele acompanhar isso tudo de perto é fantástico. E ele acaba que, tipo assim, ele traz muitas coisas, né, do pai dele, né, por ter toda essa experiência. Então, o que acaba tornando isso tudo muito melhor e muito mais divertido, né?
Não, com certeza. Antoine, eu li, I read Blood in the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Your father, olha, ó, tanto, como é que é? Lado good and bad, your father, the extremes, né? Mas uma das assim, boas histórias que eu vi assim sobre ele que eu achei muito legal, que cita assim no livro, que quando acabava às vezes os jogos, né, do New York Knicks, por exemplo, iam entrevistar ele, e daí na hora da entrevista com o repórter, ele falava assim, ó, né? E aí, meus filhos, já estão indo para a cama, né? Go to sleep, children. Go to sleep. Ó, já perguntando, ó, termina de ver esse jogo e vão dormir, vão para a cama. É verdade essa história, porque eu li no livro, achei curiosa, assim, que achei bacana, né? O fato, assim, ele fazia as entrevistas e citava vocês, assim, já dizendo, ó, terminando esse jogo, ó, crianças para children's for the bed, né? Falando para vocês ir para a cama. É verdade essa história, porque eu achei muito curiosa, achei engraçada, achei bacana a parte dele citar vocês, assim, nas entrevistas de final de jogo.
Victor mentioned a funny thing because your father is a phenomenal player, strong with the both hands, and all the people watch him play in the game. And he said that after the game, the post game, he go to the microphone and ask if you and your brother go to the bed now or doing this thing. So he mentioned this is true. If you have something to share with us about this.
Well, yeah. About him being an incredible player, it would be silly of me not to acknowledge that he was the first point forward. He always told me that. Yeah, I was playing power forward, but I played point guard as well. So it was special to have the first point forward. He always talked about it. But yeah, watching the games when I was younger, it was kind of, he knew I was gonna stay up and watch all his games. So, and the post game interviews, he'll say everything, and then he'd be like, "Twani, go to sleep," and I'm like, but he knew I was always gonna watch the games, and my mom was like, "Yup, it's that time. It's time to go to sleep," and I was just smiling. And he always called my mom after the games, so even though he told me to go to sleep, he like soon as he got into the locker room or after he showered and everything, he would call the house phone, and I would probably still be up, and then talk to him, and then he'd be like, "All right, Twani, now go to sleep. Now go to sleep." So then I went to sleep afterwards. But it was special. He loved us to death. So just watching his games and then getting a little shout out to go to sleep, or when he was, especially when he was at the Garden, I used to be, he'll tell me to come on the court, and then he'll do his interviews, and I remember the cameras used to be around, and he used to make a hoop and tell me to like dunk something, so I have a ball and go through his arms, and those are memories that I'll always keep in mind, and it was special to have, like I said, an NBA father. When I was younger, that's my dad. But now that I think about it, as the times pass, like it's pretty incredible, and the experience that being around him was amazing. I would cherish that forever.
Nice.
I love the history.
Ele falou, né, Victor? Ele comentou algo que foi muito bacana, né? Tipo assim, que o pai dele até comentava, né? Que ele talvez tenha sido o primeiro jogador que ele tenha visto, né? Que ser o point forward ali, né? O cara que é da posição ali 4 ali, mas que consegue armar, criar o jogo, né? E tal. Então, foi algo muito, muito bacana de ver, né? E tal. E ele falou a respeito das entrevistas depois do jogo, que o pai que o Anthony Mason sabia que eles estavam assistindo, né, e tal.
Viu?
Então, tipo assim, que ele falava para ele, vai dormir, né, e tal, porque sabia que ele ficava até tarde acompanhando, e que era algo fantástico, né, porque ele falava, nossa, e agora? Vou dormir, eu não vou? E a mãe falava, hora de dormir, o pai falou. Então, era muito fantástico, né, e ele, tipo assim,
Adorei essa
falou
história.
que ele é filho de um jogador da NBA, mas que para ele muitas coisas era só o meu pai. Então, meu pai que está aqui, e o pai dele brincava muito com ele, né? De enterrada, abrir os braços para ele poder enterrar, essas coisas, né? E que ele fazia isso tudo na brincadeira, levando tipo, uma coisa na brincadeira, sem entender o contexto, porque é o pai dele, né? E depois, só
Sim.
com o tempo, ele foi entender que ele era um filho de um jogador da NBA e tal, e toda essa grandeza, mas que esses momentos, assim, são marcantes sustentamento para sempre, né? Que é algo que realmente poucas pessoas têm essa oportunidade, né?
Ah, com certeza. Fazendo um paralelo, assim, dá um tempo, assim, ó, um time, assim, pro Your Father. Jordânia, né? Leste europeu ali, né? O pessoal fala muito, né? Assim, que a torcida na Europa é muito mais, assim, intensa, né? Você define que a torcida realmente lá é muito diferente, faz muito barulho, a pressão da torcida, né, dos fãs na Europa, Jordânia, por exemplo, é muito maior do que, por exemplo, nos Estados Unidos, do que em outros locais?
Cara, eu vou falar, eu não sei como é que traduz Jordânia em inglês, vou ser sincero, vocês, eu vou tentar.
Jordânia, do
Jordan.
you understand Jordânia
Yeah,
country?
the country is how can I say in English?
Jordan.
Jordan. Yeah, I think it's Jordan.
Thank you.
Yeah, in the east of Europe, and so Victor asked how is play for this crowd, for example, play in the place with the people don't know, but it's a good place to
Asia
play.
2. Asia
What?
2.
Oh,
Pergunta para
Ásia.
tanto a Ásia quanto na Europa a diferença que ele sentiu da base da torcida, então. Aproveita.
Tá. Yeah. But for example, he asked to you say to us how the different is play in the place so far. The people maybe don't watch the games, but is the place is interesting for everyone. Knows how they play, how they be a fan, for example, how is their arenas, for example, how they love basketball. So about everything, what you can share with us, play in Jordan and in Asia, for example.
Okay. Overseas life is cool. Jordan is a great place. They actually know their basketball. They love basketball. And I'm pretty sure it came from just them watching the Olympics and seeing the players. It was a couple of people that knew my father and watched the Knicks, and that's how important, like I said, the '90s basketball was. And the love for the game, they just love to watch it. The Jordan fans, the Wehdat fans were amazing. And they were as intense as NBA crowds. But it's a different way of playing basketball. Basketball is basketball, but overseas they play a certain way, and it kind of is transgression to how the NBA plays. The NBA kind of, it's a lot of European players now that, play their style of play, and they affected the game in the NBA. So, like I said, basketball is pretty amazing sport because it just connects everybody throughout the world. And my career overseas, I've came across a bunch of people, a bunch of fans that just really love the game, and they know the history of the game from watching NBA games and knowing teams, and is always somebody anywhere that I go that, oh, I loved your father when I was growing up. Oh, I knew the Knicks. Oh, this that. So it kind of puts a smile on my face every time knowing that the Knicks had a huge impact in people's lives, and my dad had an impact in people's life, and basketball is gonna. I feel like is gonna just keep growing in the world, and people are gonna keep getting better, and it's going in the right direction. Obviously, the '90s was more physical. Maybe it gets back to that a little bit, but the competitiveness and the nature of the game is in really good hands.
But his defense is the same in these countries. Defense, assim, is more excited. It's more
it's more exciting overseas because you feel like it's. I'll say overseas fans are like Knicks fans, where you love, like, it's a passion, like you love your team, like it represents your city or where you're from. So in comparison to overseas, I would say is like the Knicks. You have pride. You want to represent that team when you're playing for them, and they root for you and they just want the best for you. So overseas fans are pretty incredible, and I could compare them to Knicks fans. How Knicks fans are loyal, they want the best. When you're at the game, the energy is up. So I would compare, especially where I was just at in Jordan. They really love their basketball. They really love their team, and it reminded me of how when I was going to the Knicks games, how intense it was, how much fans were just screaming and excited. So the like I said, the fans overseas I would compare to how intense and passionate Knicks fans are.
Great.
Foi até bom, né, Vitor, ter falado. Eu até pedi ajuda para ele a respeito da Jordânia, né? Porque eu não sabia traduzir, né? Mas só o rapaz.
De Oriente Médio, desculpa, pessoal.
O rapaz fez a correção, né? É no Oriente Médio, faz divisa com Israel, com a Arábia Saudita, enfim, né? Então acaba sendo tudo Ásia no contexto, né? Mas é o seguinte, que ele mencionou que o público é fantástico, né? Que ele até no final aqui, né, analisando, tipo, ele analisou que é como se fossem os fãs dos Knicks, né? Eles são extremamente leais, né? Torcem com emoção mesmo, mandam tudo que eles podem para dentro da quadra, né? A torcida é fantástica nesse aspecto, ela tenta jogar com o time o tempo inteiro e tal. Eles entendem muito de basquete, entendem muito. Ele até foi pego, tipo assim, no contexto assim, muitas vezes ele é pego de surpresa, porque eles falam sobre o pai dele, né? Chegam para ele, seu pai e tal, falando sobre como o pai dele jogava e tal. Então, todo esse contexto é fantástico, né? Saber ir para um lugar como a Jordânia, por exemplo, né? Que ele diz que é um país fantástico, um país muito, muito legal de acompanhar, né? Tipo assim, de jogar lá, né? E tal, ver a torcida, tudo que acontece. Então, juntando isso tudo, né? É o que ele pode dizer sobre os fãs, né? E sobre como é jogar nesses países. Quer dizer, nesse país, principalmente da Jordânia,
né? Antoine, a sua carreira lá fora é bem consolidada, mas como foi a sua construção, né, da sua carreira de jogador fora dos Estados Unidos, né? Como é que é atuar fora dos Estados Unidos, né? Como que construiu a sua carreira, né? Para quem está, digamos assim, vendo essa live, saber um pouquinho mais sobre você, Antoine.
Antoine, you have a solid career overseas. Victor asked what you can share with us, how difficult was to be this type of player, play outside for different people. What you can share with us about this process of development, for example?
Overseas life is very fun. Obviously, I love to play basketball, so if I could play anywhere, it's amazing. But overseas life, it gets difficult being away from family, being around culture that you're used to. But I'm one of those people that always embrace different cultures, always wanted to see the world in different places. So me playing overseas, I get that opportunity is definitely a blessing. Obviously, my main goal is to play in the NBA, but throughout this experience, I've enjoyed it. I've learned so much from it, and I take every experience and make the best opportunity out of it. So is thank God for the technology that we have. I could FaceTime my family. I could check in on them. But it's also difficult not to actually physically be around your family. Um, but yeah, if you love the game of basketball, those are the sacrifices that you have to do if it's either overseas or in the NBA. There's a lot of great players that are in the States, but they don't have that much time for their family until the off season. So basketball is about sacrifices and enjoying the game. So, like I said, I'm one that embraces different cultures and I get excited to just play, put on a jersey, wear number 14, see Mason on my back, and just showcase what I could do.
Oh, yeah. Ele disse, né, Victor, que é algo tipo assim, jogar fora, né, em lugares assim, muitas vezes pode ser desafiador, né, e tal. Ele disse que o principal objetivo dele na carreira também, obviamente, era jogar na NBA e tal, mas que ele sempre quis também, né, conhecer lugares diferentes, né, e tal, ter oportunidades, né. É lógico que é diferente, por exemplo, da cultura que você tem de treinadores e tal, você encarar novos treinadores, tudo, mas que é uma experiência realmente fantástica, né, ter essa oportunidade de cruzar o mundo, jogar em diferentes lugares, conhecer pessoas diferentes e tal, né? Apesar da dificuldade que é ficar longe da família, né? Se desenvolver como pessoa em outro país, longe dos seus familiares, de pessoas que são próximas a você, né? Mas que é o sacrifício que se tem quando a pessoa gosta de basquete, e ama
Com
basquete como ele
certeza.
ama, né? E tal,
Com
porque
certeza.
ele é apaixonado por basquete, então ele conseguiria se estabelecer em vários lugares por causa do basquete, mas que tipo assim, mas que também tem o seu lado bom e o seu lado ruim. Um deles é o sacrifício de ficar longe da família, longe do país onde nasceu, do país onde tem a cultura. Então todo esse contexto seria isso.
You remember so much your father. Oh my God, man. Oh my God. Assim, Antoine, você assim, tem acompanhado o New York Knicks? Assim, por exemplo, nos últimos anos, você tem visto... porque assim, o New York Knicks, depois que seu pai, todo mundo saiu, cara, ó, New York Knicks, ó, como é que é? Dos últimos anos, ó, New York Knicks, né? New York Knicks, né? Come back to the playoffs, né? In the last season, né? Depois de 8 years, né? Longe dos playoffs. Daí eu queria a sua opinião, né? Não sei se está acompanhando. Como que você vê, Antoine, a atual temporada do Knicks, né? Como que você enxerga e também o futuro do New York Knicks?
Yeah, Victor asked to you if you watch the games, the Knicks right now, if you follow the Knicks and watch what we doing, what they doing, and he mentioned the last season.
It's
the
better. It's hard being Knicks fan. It's hard being Knicks fan, man. So it's hard.
Yeah.
I love this team, man. But continue.
Yeah, Victor mentioned. Yeah, already it's too hard to be a Knicks fan because sometimes, for example, this season the team struggle a lot. The last season, the team back to the playoffs after past 8 years without make the playoffs. So. Victor asked the first question is if you watch and follow the Knicks and what do you think about all this process the team have right now?
Yeah, I definitely watched the Knicks. It's two teams that I watch. It's Miami and it's the Knicks. Miami because that was the team that my dad made the All-Star game with, and the Knicks is I'm born and raised in New York, and
I understand.
that's what I grew up with. And I was excited that the Knicks made it to the playoffs last year. It was great for New York. It was great for the city. The energy was up. Everybody was happy, and I just feel like the difference in this year was some of the players didn't get better in the off season. They saw that they did well, and I don't think they grew or built up from that. So, my dad always used to say, if you come back the same, then you got worse. And I feel like some of the players came back the same and just didn't really develop to help the team. And, the new transition, I felt like it was going to take a bit for them to, click or gel, but it's been rough this season. I like how some of the players been developing through down the stretch, like RJ. I feel like he's in the right path. It's difficult to play in the Garden, and then it's also difficult to have somebody that was drafted above you like Ja Morant, where everybody loves Ja and whatever. But I love how RJ has handled himself, and how he's really been developing. He's shown flashes, and that's things that you can build off of. You just have to get the right people and the right fit for that team to really make it grow. Like Mitchell Robinson, he's been showing his presence on defense and doing his job, grabbing rebounds on offense, dunking it. It's players that you see. Okay, you could see them fitting in. I love Sims. I love what he's doing as a rookie. To have two athletic bigs that helps. Julius Randle, people been giving him a hard time. It's tough being the star in New York, and I feel like he'll come back hopefully in the off season and work on his game and get to where he was before, where he was. The team was built and had success last year from playing hard on defense. They resembled the 90s. They played hard and they gave it all they had. They didn't have the best talent on the team, but they worked so hard that it gave teams fits and it gave them a chance every game. And I think the culture of the team, it was more relaxed this year and pretty much changed, and they got a reality shock that, okay, it's not that we were the most talented team. It was the fact that we worked hard and we put that pain in every day, every time we stepped on the court that gave us the advantage. So, is it a disappointing season? Obviously, especially being, a top 4 team last year. But do I think they will get it correct? Yeah. And I mean, it is somebody coming off an injury that is pretty darn good, waiting for the opportunity. So I think the Knicks would be in the right direction in the next couple of years.
I hope, man. I hope so much, man.
Yeah.
Hugo da Costa is a Miami Heat fan. I have aqui, we have a Miami Heat fan in this channel, man. Hugo da Costa.
Hey, what's up?
Aqui, Yeah. Other channel, friends, aqui, the Knick Fans Brasil, from the United States, cara, of America, aqui, Noah, do Clutch Ball TV. See this live too, Antoine Mason in this channel, man. Great honor for us. Traduz aí, Bruninho.
Beleza. Primeiro, Vitor, é muito bom, né? Eu vi que tipo, as expectativas são boas para o futuro, né? E tal. Ele falou que, claro, que ele acompanha o Knicks, né? Que ele acompanha o Knicks e o Miami Heat, né? Pela questão do All-Star, o pai dele ter estado lá, né? E tal. Então foi algo realmente muito bom, né? E que ele acompanha, ele vê, por exemplo, o desenvolvimento de jogadores como o R.J. Barrett, por exemplo, que vem mostrando atuações fantásticas e tal, né? Um jogador muito jovem ainda, mas que tem um futuro brilhante na liga, principalmente com os Knicks, né? E tal, então ele consegue ver isso. O próprio Mitchell Robinson, que é um jogador que protege muito bem o aro, que pega muitos rebotes e tal, apresentou uma excelente defesa, então pode trazer muito para os Knicks, né? E tal. Então, todo nesse contexto, esses jogadores que estão ali, ele falou até que o próprio Julius Randle mesmo, que a torcida muitas vezes pega muito pesado com eles, né? Com ele, principalmente, né? É muito pesado com ele, mas que tipo assim, é um jogador também que tem um esforço muito grande para jogar. Ele falou assim que muitas vezes não são os mais talentosos, mas são tipo assim aqueles que mais se doam ali pela equipe, né? O contexto. E é muito difícil quando as coisas não dão certo para atletas assim, porque você tem que redobrar as forças, as energias para poder apresentar um bom basquetebol, conseguir vencer, e é muito duro, porque as expectativas são muito grandes. Na última temporada ficou em quarto, e agora nessa temporada a equipe não vem conseguindo, né? Tem as questões de lesões, então todo esse contexto acaba minando, tipo assim, qualquer expectativa além do que, tipo assim, o Knicks pode fazer. Então acaba criando essa situação com a equipe.
Heartbreaker. Né? Heartbreaker with us. I define Knicks in the season. Heartbreaker with us, Antoine.
Yes.
Don't fair. Clutch Ball TV, Antoine. Noah, aqui, my friend said, Antoine, my dad loved your father so much. Aqui,
Thank you.
Clutch Ball TV, it's a great guy aí, Noah. Bruno, vamos ler pelo menos uma perguntinha aqui do Nicão da Massa, cara, porque, o Nicão da Massa é parceiro aqui no Twitter, né? Vamos ver aqui uma perguntinha aqui, que daqui a pouquinho a gente já vai ter que encerrar. Aqui, Nicão da Massa, aqui, Vitor, pergunta se ele lembra do Ewing e como ele era nos bastidores. Você tem alguma lembrança do Ewing, do Patrick Ewing? Óbvio, né, que a gente ia acabar perguntando também do Patrick Ewing aqui, né?
Yeah, the guy asked if you remember something of Patrick Ewing, and if you remember, for example, how was he in the locker room, for example, or the backstage?
Well, with Pat Riley, he didn't play with having your family at practice or anything like that. But I always used to go after the game in the back and wait for my dad outside the locker. So I used to always see Pat and Starks and Oakley and Herb Williams and Doc and everybody. So when I was younger, I used to say, "Wow, Pat is really tall. He's really tall." And he had the high top fade. So it was pretty cool to always see him. And then I met so many players outside the Knicks from my dad, Jordan and Kobe, Shaq, Allen Iverson, just a bunch of players, throughout just being around my dad. So I was blessed to just be in the NBA family, NBA circle. And, but yeah, being around the family or the team after the games was pretty cool to, especially when they won. Everybody was happy when they won. So they used to come out with happy energy, always say hello to me, my mom, and my Nana, and, go about their business. And for some reason, my dad was always the last person to come out the locker room. I don't know what he was doing, but he was always the last person. So we always had to, we saw everybody because we had to wait on my dad.
Great.
Ele mencionou, né, Vitor, que assim, o Pat Riley não deixava muito ele acompanhar treinamento, esse tipo de coisa assim, mas que, por exemplo, depois dos jogos, né, e tal, ele conseguia, né, ali tá com, tipo assim, com os jogadores, ele via o Patrick e falava assim, nossa, como ele é alto, né, e tal, imaginava, tipo, ele era criança, né, e tal, então tudo isso era bacana, ele é muito abençoado por estar no círculo ali da NBA, né, ter possibilidade de estar perto de vários atletas, né, ele falou que ele não sabia o motivo, mas que o pai dele era o último a sair do vestiário, então ele conseguia ver todos os atletas e tal, e depois, né, o pai dele, né, via ao redor de muitos jogadores talentosos, né, citou Kobe Bryant, por exemplo, né, Allen Iverson e outros ali na liga ali, e que para ele foi fantástico, né, estar nesse círculo da NBA, ter pessoas tão próximas assim também, é algo que, tipo assim, é único, né?
Oh, I also have a special thing. So me being a Heat fan was because my dad, made the All-Star, and then he retired 2 years after that, and he was on the Bucks, and he was telling me, "Hey, it's a guard that's going to be really good in the NBA, and he's gonna he's been doing really well in the pickups and everything." So I was like, "What's his name?" And it just so happened to be Dwayne Wade. So it worked out that he went to the Heat, and that's like my dad's my biggest influence in basketball, but I patented my game after Dwayne Wade, and it was kind of funny, that he went to the Heat, and then when he played at the Garden on Christmas, my dad took me as a Christmas gift, and then I actually got to see Wade, and I met LeBron a couple of times, but it was just, having my dad, to pull off those strings to meet those players were pretty cool, especially as I'm, was older and trying to go through the same journey as they just came through. So it was kind of cool that I got to see, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and a bunch of players, Carmelo, everybody, that's playing in the league now. I pretty much saw as they were just coming in the league because my dad was just retiring. So he was still part of the game, still going to the games, but it was good to see their development. And it was another time, like I said, I knew Steph since Charlotte Hornet days. So my dad went to the game and was checking in on Steph, making sure he was good, his development. It was probably a year 2 or 3 in the NBA, and he was just checking up on him. And I remember Steph just always been humbled and saying he thought Seth was going to be better than him coming into the league. And, Steph he's having a great career, but Steph didn't believe at that time how impactful and how he was going to change the game. So it's kind of cool to share those stories or, hear people before they became that big name. So it was kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, man, this is so great. Ele tava dizendo, né, o Victor, que tipo uma das razões também, né, que ele também é um torcedor do Miami Heat, né, porque o pai dele foi All-Star, depois 2 anos depois se...
I understand. I forgive you.
E depois, 2 anos depois, ele se aposentou, né, na liga e tal, e que foi algo fantástico, porque o pai dele falava, tipo, tem um jogador aí muito bom, né, e tal, que joga ali na posição ali, né, 2, 3 ali, que é um jogador muito bom, você precisa acompanhar e tal. E aí ele falou assim, qual jogador que é? E ele falou que era do Dwayne Wade, e acabou indo pro Miami Heat. Então, tipo assim, foi algo fantástico. E ele acabou ganhando, né, de presente do pai dele, a possibilidade de assistir o Miami Heat jogar ali no Madison Square Garden, né, e tal. Ele foi, né, teve a oportunidade de conhecer o Dwayne Wade, conheceu ele conheceu o LeBron algumas vezes, né? Ele também tinha mencionado anteriormente que eu tinha esquecido, né? Que ele teve a oportunidade, ele conheceu, né? Vi ele ali nos treinamentos e tal, o Stephen Curry, né? Em Charlotte, na época, o pai dele, né? Porque o pai dele conheceu, logicamente, o Del Curry, né? Que é o pai do Stephen Curry. E que eles tiveram uma proximidade ali, e sempre o Stephen Curry foi sempre um cara muito humilde ali, né? Participativo, né? E tal.
Sim.
Dentro desse contexto. E que ele é abençoado por ter tido essa oportunidade com tantos atletas que ainda até hoje estão na liga, né, e tal, e que é algo fantástico, né, estar nesse círculo e estar nesse círculo de pessoas e poder ter histórias com eles também, né.
Stephen Curry, for me, not. I want meet you, Antoine. I meet you. Oh, you are a great guy, man. You are a great
Thank
guy.
you.
I like so much, guy. Ó,
Thank you.
Bruno, comenta com ele, ó. Nick Fans Brasil Channel, né? Eu sei que você não tá. Você tá onde nesse momento? Where you live now?
I still live in the New York, Jersey area.
For
yeah.
preparation.
Mm-hmm.
É que assim, ó, next year, né? Nick Fans Brasil Channel, né? Has a. Como é que fala, Bruno?
Tá. Yeah, Victor wants to let you know the people in the channel intend to visit New York next year in 2023. The Victor mentioned, he wants to meet you face to face.
Okay.
You say you're a nice guy,
Definitely.
a great guy. Yeah.
Fala pra ele assim, ó, você vai ter que torcer pelo menos um jogo do Knicks. Eu sei, ó, Miami Heat fan. Ok, né?
Não, mas
But,
ele mencionou que ele também é fã dos Knicks, então, assim...
ok. Então,
I love the Knicks too. I love, like I said, I love both teams. I love the Knicks too. I always want them to do well. It pains me when they lose. So, yeah, I still have the same passion for the Knicks.
But I wanna meet you in New York, okay? But come from Brazil too, man.
I definitely have to visit Brazil. That's one of the things I have to do. So I will.
Play basketball with me, in São Paulo, man.
Victor, he will destroy us. He will destroy us.
Don't problem. You play with me, You play with me, contra o Bruno e mais alguém, somewhere else, Okay, you Antoine, will be my team, okay?
Okay. All right.
Antoine, thank you so much. Really, this life for me, you don't understand, but for me, it's a very, very special. Very, very special. Muito especial. I become Nick fan because your father, Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Pat Riley, and some other guys.
Mm-hmm.
You represent, forgive, your father.
Thank you.
I like so much the other players. Antoine Mason, for me, it's a incredible person.
Thank you so much.
I in this life, smile, face to face aqui, hurt my smile all life with you, in this life.
Thank you.
Então, so
thank
special.
You for having me. This was incredible. Like I said, I thank God for connecting us, and thanks for reaching out. This has been incredible to just talk about everything. So I really enjoy it.
No, you're a great guy. Very, very special, man. Really. I am so happy. I'm so happy bring to you in this channel. Bruno, translate for Brazilians. I talk so much in English and Brazilians aqui, ó.
Tipo assim, falando que você tinha dito, né, que era muito especial, né, foi muito bacana, né, Vitor, tal, trazer ele, que você é fã de vários jogadores, e o pai dele, principalmente, sim, né, e tal, e ele disse que é muito gratificante, né, cara, ter essa conexão, principalmente com pessoas do Brasil e tal, que foi muito bom estar aqui, né, falar para os brasileiros, e que você tinha mencionado também a respeito de visitar o Brasil, ele falou que sim, ele pretende no futuro também, então vai ser algo muito fantástico, tudo isso. E que é isso, né, cara?
Fala para ele assim, ó, a gente vai fazer uma super recepção, faz até uma festa para ele aqui em São Paulo.
Yeah, Victor mentioned that we will make a party for you here, receive you here.
Enfim, ó, thank you so much, né, for this life. Bruno, thank you again, né, for the interpreter, translate, né, again in this life, ó. Thank you so much, Bruno, né?
Thank you both for having me. It's been incredible. It's been amazing. I appreciate it.
Bruno save me with you, né? My English, ó. This is the same Knicks in the season, ó, my English, ó. Daí Bruno save me, ó. But, ó, I love this life. Yes, ó, really. Muito, 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 very cool this life, né? Enfim, pessoal, obrigado, né? Thank you so much, everybody, né? Todos aí que assistiram essa live. Bruno, mais uma vez, obrigado. Thank you so much, né? Com Antoine. E fico aqui por aqui, pessoal. E até a próxima, Knicks fans.
Tchau pra todo mundo.
Thank you for having me and go Knicks.
Go Knicks. Como é que é? Musiquinha? Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go!